How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 13 of the Nick of Time podcast. We have a very awesome guest for you today. A very good friend of mine. We go way back since tech school, early military days, early Air Force days. Georgie, if you could introduce yourself to the people, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys. I just kidding. I'm Georgie. Like Nick said, yes, we've known each other a long time. I think 2016. We've known each other
Yeah.
since 2016. Yep. Um, been around the block a handful of times, a few rodeos. But military wise, I think what we're hitting our almost 6 years, almost. I think
Yep,
about five
just
and a half.
about.
Yeah, just turned 18, so y'all chill. I just turned legal. I'm just kidding. No, no, I
Dude,
just
you're
turned
true.
24. Just turned 24. So yeah,
Thank
I'm
you. I
almost out of here.
appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, we go way back since technical training. For those of y'all that don't know, technical training is like the training right after like your basic training or like boot camp. It's like your job training. And yeah, I don't think initially we didn't initially become friends like right off the rip, huh? I mean,
I
we
don't
kind of
know.
knew each other, but it was just like I think what solidified like our friendship, and a lot of people in the Air Force are gonna laugh probably, but when we became ropes, I think that's when we
Oh,
were like,
you volunteered to be a rope. I was
no, I
forced.
didn't.
Yes.
No, 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 that's a lie. Because remember, they got fired, and we both got voluntold. I didn't
Yeah,
sign up to be a rope
bro,
because
that's
we had
true.
to because we had to do our marching eval together. I was never a rope like in the beginning. I
Yeah.
was just trying to
That's what
chill,
that's
et
right,
cetera, et
because
cetera.
what's his face, like both like two or three of them, got got
They
fired
got
and like
fired.
yeah, and then Sergeant Guerrero, he like asked me, then I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And then he like kind of forced me, like tricked me into like doing it, and then I still got shit on because everyone's like, "Oh, Boyd's a rope." Like, "Oh, she likes it." I was like, "No, I literally didn't want to be here. I was just like forced to be here because
Yeah.
none of y'all are like really up to par." So,
So just to provide some back context to all the people who don't know what we're talking about, a rope is like a class leaders, right? There was like 100 of us in the beginning, and I think there was like 4 or 5 leaders that just like they're they're in between the chain of like our instructors and like the rest of the class. So like if our instructors have any like directions or have any issues or whatever, they're coming to us to like handle it or get on our asses about it. But it wasn't Master Guerrero because he wasn't my direct instructor. It was Texan Avery
oh
who
yeah,
was
yeah,
for me, and he had brought it up. And then I remember the MTL. I remember we used to have to we used to have to walk all the way back after long days, right, and sit there and wait for MTL for like 30 minutes, right, for
gross.
no reason.
And you
And
still
then
got shit on? You didn't even like
yeah.
you just would breathe with the rope and you would still get shit on. Like it was the first look of like military like leadership position, but you guys are still like boot babies, so
Yeah.
it didn't really matter. Yeah, everybody hated you just because like that was you. Like everyone's like, "Oh, rope, she's
Yeah.
breathing, he has a pulse." Hate, absolutely hate. Like it's like, "Bro, what?"
Yes. and I
It was
and I
funny.
remember it was before they officially told us we were gonna be ropes. And I remember standing there waiting for the MTL to come out so she can end the day brief or whatever. And we knew that they were like fired, but our MTL hadn't told us that they were fired. The instructors fired them. But you know what I mean? Like we were still
Yeah.
waiting on the MTL to like make it official. Well, I remember sitting there or standing there, we're all waiting for the MTL, and then she finally comes out and she's like, "So I heard so and so got fired," and everyone was just like, "Hey, Adams, tell you want to be a rope." I'm like, "No, bro."
Yeah,
I was
right?
like, cause like I actually like you guys, right? As soon as I get in that position, you're gonna instantly like hate me, cause
Yeah.
Cause y'all are like shitheads. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
seriously. Like, you think I wanna be, like, responsible for you guys, like, that liaison in between because you guys are so annoying.
oh man. But there were so many good people that I was close with, so I didn't want that, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like responsible, but I just didn't want to have to deal with that because we're like the same. You know what I mean? Like no
Yeah.
one, it's like you said, we're boot babies. No one's like
No
above
one's above
anybody.
each other, yeah, but they, like, expect you. So, like, if you're looking to join the military, let me tell you real quick, don't be a rope. Unless you really want to,
Yeah.
you're gonna get made fun of if you show, like you're like, "Hey, I wanna really wanna be a rope." Now, this is just security forces, I don't know about the other tech schools, but, uh,
Yeah.
don't let that rope, go to your head, don't do none of that, and don't show up to your first duty station with the rope still on. People have done that before, people have done that before.
I can't even imagine doing that. That'd be insane, huh? That'd be pretty crazy.
Shit would be
But
so bad.
yeah, I tell people all the time in my new job, and like two of them are prior security forces, and they're all like GS, like 10s and 11s, so they're all like 40s, 50s. They're way older than me, but the two of them are prior security forces, and we talk about it all the time. And like I said, they went to security forces a long time ago, right? Early
Yeah.
2000s. But I was like, dude, tech school was harder than like boot camp.
For
Like,
real. For real, like, you got off the bus and they were still yelling at you, you're like, "Wait, are we still in basic training?" And, like, it was the building like, were you in Alcatraz or, like, Disneyland?
I was in Disneyland, literally like the 321st. So like uh where Valley High is,
Mhm.
and then where we used to get our mail. It's like the first one, like going to Firehouse. Like if you make that left off Valley High,
Yep.
like you're on base. It's the first Disneyland building that's facing like
Oh, I was team
yeah.
Alcatraz, okay, veteran. Okay, veteran. And when I would look outside, like, the window or, like, come down,
Yeah.
from our dorms, Firehouse was literally right across, like, directly
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
street, and I used to, like, look and be like, "Wow, like,
They're
that's
so
real life,"
free.
because yeah,
Yeah.
because, like, by third week, you really are like a prisoner of war almost, like, that environment, like, prisoner of war, like, prisoner of boot camp, and, like, I saw all those people, security forces, tech schoolers, and I was like, wow, like, that's life. And I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder what's over there. And then we got on the bus, went right across the street, and still got yelled at. And I was like, and we weren't even getting yelled at by like instructors or anything like that. We were getting
Yeah.
yelled at by wash bags. Airmen who
Yeah.
couldn't make it to the next week and they got wash back thinking they were the hottest shit ever. Didn't tell you they were a wash back though. Oh my God, this shit
Yeah.
was so bad.
I remember because right, I had turned my relaxed out on like 100, which that was the wrong
Yeah.
thing to do. So when we showed up, we were waiting on a bus, because we were on Airman's Week. Were you not? Which
Yeah.
was
Yep. I
like,
was on Airman's Week. Yeah.
yeah. So we were like, we went to Airman's Week, and it's okay, time to go to tech school. Well, I remember waiting for the bus, and we finally got the bus. When we get on like the PT pad, and it's still like dusk, so like you can see like everyone, but you can't see faces because the sun's still coming up. And the like MTL, like, which MTL is like military training leader, which they're like, for those y'all that don't know, they're like a staff sergeant or tech sergeant, etc., that are basically in charge of us in tech school, like our dorms or if we have appointments or anything like that. But they're not our job instructors. They're just like our babysitters, basically.
Yeah.
And the MTL, we get off the bus, right? We form up and he's like screaming. And I'm like, bro, like, oh, why are you screaming? Like, I've never I was like, okay, now I gotta like turn it back on, like, because you just graduate basic
Basic.
training. You're like
Yeah.
super proud, happy to be here, and
Yeah,
then
you're
now
like,
you
"Bro, what?" Like, I literally am not in BMT anymore, like, I'm the next hottest thing. Like,
Yeah, I'm about to drop an album next week. Watch how you talk
Yeah.
to me. But yes, right here. So we're getting screamed at. And then they tell us, I'm about to tell you your dorm room, you're gonna go up there, put your bags, and stand outside of your dorm. Right. And this is where things got really difficult because I'm a pretty good listener. But when he said that, boom, he said like 2121, you're past, because we had dial pads, right? Didn't we? I don't remember,
Oh
but he
yeah.
told me we had keys or something. I don't know if he had like the codes or like keys. I think we had the codes. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it
we
was
did
a
have the
code.
codes.
So he was
Yeah.
like, he said, Adams, room number 899, passcode 212180. And then like then he went like Boyd, right? And I was just like, I did not want to ask. I was like, F that, because we were getting we were getting screamed at, right? So I just guessed on what my freaking dorm was, right? And I'm like I'm trying to put in all these numbers, and it's not it, man. It is not it. And eventually I find one of the washbacks, one of our sat week pushers, and they helped me out. But I refuse to go to the MTL and tell him that I wasn't paying attention. But it's hard
Dude,
because I
seriously.
was because I was the first one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're the first one, and then they tell yours, and it's like when you learn a card game, like how to play the game, and you like internally black out. It's the same thing as when you get there, they start yelling at you, like, and you're like, wait, where am I at? And then as soon as it goes to like Adams, they're already on like mine and like the third person after, and they're like, wait, I know theirs, but wait, what was
Yeah.
mine? And you like internally blacked out and had no idea what had just said, and then you're really gonna get fricked up if you go out and be like, hey sir, I like don't remember like, but that's just security forces though. I know people that were in like medical and like
Yeah.
personnelists and like they're like got their iced coffee, like they're just showing up to tech school and they're like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah. and the
Stupid.
and just to add on what you were saying, like imagine if I did hear the right numbers, right? Let's just say I got it. And then you have to hear 1,000 more numbers
Yeah.
until
You're
we
like,
go upstairs. Yeah, I'm trying to like block out. You know what I mean? Like, cause there's
yeah.
all these other numbers going, And I just never forgot that, man. I was just like, oh, I'm so stressed out. But speaking of stressed out, because tech school is actually a very interesting time, and that's where our friendship started. Tell me, how did you feel and I think we talked about this when you were TDY in San Antonio. Tell me, how did you feel? And just to provide more context to the people in security forces, right? We're kind of like military police. And it's not like this now, but the first 2 weeks, right, we're all weapons training, right? And
Yeah.
me personally, I just didn't grow up around guns. But how can you explain your experience when we had to go through that first week, right, of learning our weapons, like through and through, and having to shoot and do all this stuff? Tell me about the first 2 weeks of tech school, starting
Okay.
from the 05 wake up, or not wake up, 05 report. So it was like what, 4 a.m. wake up time?
Yeah. So I like get there. So mind you, when Adams and I went through, there was like 86 people total. Only 6 were female. So the 80 were guys, 6 were females. And I was thinking like first like, dang, there's like a lot of males. I had just turned like nine, like no, I was still 18. Like I was freshly 18, like probably by 5 or 6 months, and I was already overwhelmed about how many like guys there were, and like the instant feeling of like judgment like was there, and I was like, dang, I got to be like
Mm.
one of the boys. Like I have to perform like the boys. But that was a personal goal of mine was to like
Yeah,
I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, like Boyd, like she kind of like
yeah.
nobody really wants a female that's like kind of like, oh
You
my
wanted
girl,
respect. Yeah.
yeah, and so it was kinda just sitting back quiet. I was like an anxious mess, like, I had a lot of anxiety for like, unknown anxiety brought up, like, dude, I was, like, hyperventilating 1 second, like, I was doing whatever the other second, but when it came to, like, we laid all of our stuff down. To me, it was super easy, like, not taking anything personal. And you know me, I'm a really personal person. So I was like, all right, whatever they're
Yeah.
saying is not personal. But when it came to weapons, I don't know about you, but when I was in BMT, I was that M16 all-star. Like, boy, I don't know what it was, but the environment, I was that one Russian girl with the blindfold on and was doing
Yeah.
this, and then I had the whole weapon apart, and then did that, and the whole weapon was together. It's so easy for me to like catch on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, girls are like this doesn't fit. So then I thought, dang, I got this going on. Like this is it. So then the only thing that really bothered me was like all the COP on my hands. Like I'm really worried about my
Yeah.
skin, so like kind of gross. But with firing though, um, we all did basic training firing, which is whatever. And then you get into security forces and it's kind of expected of you to like be a hot shot like at firing, like, oh, like you
Yeah.
didn't fire expert in BMT, like, bro, listen, I didn't close my eyes and second guess, like, I know it was locked for you. I know it was locked for you, but I grew up, well, I rifles, like
Yeah.
anything rifle, long gun, I got it in the bag. I don't know what it is, I'm very comfortable. Now handguns, that's a different story. Okay?
Yeah.
Listen, don't trust me with trust me, but like don't expect me to be like, I'm qualifying, but I got a C in the class, okay? Like
Yeah.
the handgun on the range is like a C plus, okay? Like I'm there, but like I'm not like the hottest. But if you're
Yeah.
standing more than like 15 yards away from me, then maybe I'll just pull
Good
out
luck.
the M4. I don't know. But yeah, but I don't know, like when it came to everything nomenclature, I thought it was like, secondhand nature to me. And then, like I said, rifle on the range, I was all about it. Like I was really in there. But when it came to handgun though, and we had the
Yeah.
Beretta M9s, which everyone knows, like, I don't know, Italy's not built, to make handguns in my opinion. And those things were so broken in, like it was bad. And like
Yeah.
the freaking double action, and like you can see how small my hands are. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
happening. So
Yeah.
it was just
To this day, I'm not a fan of the Beretta just because of the double action. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
especially on the first shot, like when that double action is like, dude, like, oh my gosh. And then it feels so much different when it's in single action. So it's just weird. But no, I guess what I'm trying to get at is I didn't really have an issue with shooting. Like, and I'm with you. Like, give me any kind of rifle, boom, I'm Chris Kyle in that motherfucker. You know
Ah!
what I mean? But like with handguns, it just requires more training, especially with the Beretta. It's so hard to shoot. I think I'm a C plus, maybe a B on certain days with the Beretta too. But no, what I was getting at was not so much the nomenclature. It's easy to name parts and take it apart, put it back together. I'm talking about function checks, yo. That
Oh,
didn't that didn't get to you because I remember, right?
oh.
Like I said, didn't grow up with guns, and our first day was the M9. So just to give some backstory, guys, what we would do was we in the morning we'd wake up at 4, get on the bus at 5, go to the range and everything. But we'd be in this classrooms, and the first day was all classrooms with the gun, and the next day was on the range with that gun, and then we'd go to the next gun the next day, classroom, etc., etc. Well, that first day was the pistol, the M9 pistol, and we did classroom all in the morning, and then they sent us on lunch and said, "Hey, when y'all come back, we're gonna do y'all's knowledge evals." And first of all, when I say they sent us on lunch, they sent us outside the classroom, like outside the building, to eat an MRE, right? It
Yeah.
was like, dude, like we're at a range, bro. We're not, you know what I mean? We're not in
Oh,
freaking
and I used to put hot sauce. I
Afghanistan.
used to put hot sauce on like the ant piles and stuff. Like when we were out there, remember I used to always dump hot sauce on the ants?
Yeah, because so
Rip.
bored. You know what I mean? There's nothing else to do. But I remember they're like, you need to study. So like I really didn't eat much, right? The MREs, little plastic sealed bag with like dried up food and whatnot. And I remember I would be like studying like all the nomenclature, all
Oh.
the stuff. And I'm so glad I did because our sergeant was cool, right? That cabin dude was super cool. and then we come back and all the old guys, the retirees come in and more Cadam people, and we start doing like, oh, take it apart. Okay, name everything, put it back together, blah blah blah. All right, function check on M9.
Oh
And
my
they
god.
say this step, the next step, and the thing about tech school is they could send you back in training like that. Like it's like you're not qualified, gotta go back and train. So we're doing this function check, right, to make sure the gun operates, and a function check is different maneuvers to make sure the safety works, make sure the hammer half cock, make sure the falling lock and block, like make sure all this stuff works with the gun, right? And dude, I'm like standing there, and they just keep sending people like fail, fail, like to the back of the room. You don't remember that?
Yeah. You out. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm standing there with this gun, and I'm like, nope, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right. And then I get through it right. And I look in the back of the room, there's like 30 people standing there in the back. And then they give you one more chance for those 30 people that messed up, right? And out of those 30 people, maybe like half of them, you know what I mean? Like made
yeah,
it through, and the other half got washed back to another week, which is like bad because now you got to start over, right?
yeah.
And I remember like just my heart just doom. And then you finally get back, and you finally make it to the hallway, right? And you're waiting. They're like, all right, everybody come back. And then they're like, this many people are getting washed back, whatever. And they're not advancing to the next week in the training. And I remember just sitting there, I was like, oh, thank God. And they said, yep, we're gonna fire tomorrow on M9, and then Wednesday we're gonna have the M4. And I'm like, dude, we gotta do this all over again, bro. And then the next week we
Yes.
had to do the 249, right? The heavies, and then the 240. And I was just the function checks, right? I
Yeah.
was just, dude, I was like, I can't take this kind of stress, you know?
It's a
But
lot.
somehow, some
Bro,
way we got through
I'm
it.
I'm a 7 level. I'm literally still in the career field about to cross train. I'm a 7 level and I still don't know how to function check. Like after firing, everybody's cleaning. I'm like this. Oh, for all right, she good to go. And I'm literally like the first one out. Like, or if like one of the instructors is
Yeah.
sitting there like chilling talking to us, I'm like, you know, charging handle a few times and I just fuck with it and I'm like, all right, she's good. Like, cause I knew I put it back together, like everything's perfect. Like there's nothing I like miss,
Yeah.
like everything like bolt carrier group all together. Like there's no issues about
Yeah.
it. I don't function check and don't ask me, I could be a master sergeant and I'd be like, function check. Who? I didn't never met her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't remember anything. And then when we
Yeah.
get to OSAN in our QC, QCs are
Yeah.
so different now. Function checking was part of the QC, and I just
Yup.
remember like I pulled my first like I think I pulled my first like puppy dog eye on
Yeah.
that. I was just like, and the guy he was like some staff, and he was like, "All right, you passed." Like, cause I did everything except for the function check, and I was like, I don't recommend that,
Yeah.
doing that in your career, but
And the crazy part about it was it wouldn't have been that bad, this whole function checks and everything we're talking about, if they weren't just always on us. Like we've done
yeah.
the basic training. We went through the whole yelling, them getting on to you, like just let us relax so we can learn. Like we're trying to
Yeah,
learn.
you don't
But
learn by screaming, like,
yeah, and we're
knowledge.
talking
I learned
yeah, we're talking
personally by screaming, but not knowledge when you're screaming it, not knowledge.
exactly. It's just like, oh my gosh. I just remember that was probably one of the most that was like looking back on it, was probably the most stressful week I think I've ever had. Like in a single week, like yeah, easily the most stressful because I just had so much anxiety, and I'm not really an anxious kind of person by nature. But that week, I was just like, no, 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 this ain't it, cuz you
Yeah.
know. That's so funny.
But we
Yeah.
used to we used to we used to goof off though, like in that big, the big room, and you'd have
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
fight, and then you would have like your like
The
what are
week
they
people ahead of you
the
or
week
behind
ahead
you.
of you, and I was there like, and I had, there was somebody a week right ahead of me that had eyes for me. You know what I'm saying? They had eyes,
I
and
think
we
a
were
lot of people had eyes for you,
no.
Georgie, but
Okay, first off, for the record, all y'all on my Instagram, I'm a catfish. Okay, here it is. This is the real me on Instagram. I'm a catfish. Like I'm a cat. I am like the catfish. Like I don't know what else to tell you guys. Like that one snap, like even on Snapchat too, that one filter, that ain't me, boo boo. That's not me. That's that filter. Okay, I'm a catfish, but like I was there trying to focus, and
Yeah.
I was freshly, I was single. Like I had one boyfriend before I joined, so I was, just like figuring out life. And I had a boy
Hmm.
who had these eyes on me, and every time we were standing there, he would come up to me, goof off with me, and you know me, like I laugh, and I'm like
Yeah,
crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like once he distracts me, like I'm gone. And so he just kept
for sure.
distracting me the whole time, and I'm thinking like, I really gotta like focus on like the task at hand, like behaving, like we're not goofing off, like we're still, m- obviously the most militarized career field. So there was no like coffee breaks, and we're just like, hey, bro, like, and security forces airmen were wild. Like they didn't go through any, like it was like they scored the lowest ASVAB score in like the personality test. They were like borderline psychotic, and they're like, "Oh, you got it, security forces." Like you had
Yeah,
people in there like crafting knives by hand, and then you had like, some dude that was trying to like round up six ladies at a time to like do like a
yeah.
movie, and like all this weird, yeah. And you like, it's
Yeah,
like a Planet
not
Fitness.
yeah. Not only was it like, I wouldn't say they're all dumb, because like I think you and me scored pretty decent on
Oh
the
yeah,
ASVAB. There's definitely people that are dumber that are in other jobs in the Air Force, but I think it's also like all the people that just have the like F it mentality. You
they
know what I mean?
do.
Like because like security forces is a job that's always available. It's the largest career field in the Air Force, so they constantly need people. So if you're like a recruiter, right, and you're like, hey, I can't get you the job you want, but there's a security force job, you can leave tomorrow. And people are like, dude,
Yeah.
like I'll leave tomorrow, cuz you know?
Yeah, right. I'm trying to dip out, or I'm about to get my like I got a warrant out. I'm just kidding. You can't join. You
Yeah.
can't join if you have a warrant. But like, yeah, like my baby mama wild, so I gotta go.
Yeah,
So yeah, people are
exactly.
out. People are out as soon
That
as
was that was
possible.
me. Like yeah, like I had a bunch of jobs. So like, yeah, it wasn't like I was waiting on a specific job, but I was like, dude, I didn't know anything about the military. I was like, if you serve, you serve. Which, don't do that if you plan on joining. Please do your research.
Yeah.
Being 18, young and dumb, you just do stuff. And that's why I was security forces, right? I was just like, whatever's gonna get me in the fastest, boy, send me. And they sure had a slot for me too.
Yep.
Security Forces Team 048. Let's go.
It's up. It's up.
But
It's up.
also too, and it wasn't like, I wouldn't even say nothing crazy, nothing super serious at all, because I knew, like you said, there were six girls on our team, and like of all these guys, but I also, you know what I mean, on Team 047, I was also had there was a person that had some eyes too. So
Yeah.
we were both in the same boat. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, the same team. We were dipping in the same team.
yeah.
4-7.
Yeah, exactly. You already know it's good, man. Um, but yeah, I was thinking about that when you said it. I was just like, man, that's crazy. Like, it's crazy to think about how long ago that was, you know?
It
But
was. It
also
was.
it seems like yesterday at the same time, you know?
Yeah, it's just like, and now like look at us. Like you're already into your cross training. I'm dipping into mine. Same topic, like I'm sure your audience, you get people who are like new security forces or like thinking about, joining. Like
Yeah,
I always get these people on my inbox. It's like, "Oh, like what do you like about security forces?" Especially when my like Instagram like blew up. Like my Instagram blew up in conjunction with Curves and Combat Boots leggings. So I know everybody
yeah,
knows that page on Instagram. They first started just shouting out military females, that's a big thing, is like the military female community. And then the woman who actually runs the page, she's active duty, and her husband is like formal special forces. They're older though, like they weren't your typical like
yeah.
joined at 19. Um so my page blew up when they were like shouting me out a lot. And like I said, catfish, men, that's not what I look like in real that's not what I look like in real life. But they shouted me out a bunch of times, and I had some issues with people, stealing my photos and then stealing, some things like impersonating and whatnot. And it was to a point where I was working one of the gates in Korea, and some guy, like random guy, emailed or found me on Facebook and messaged me and was like, "Hey, are you on Ashley Madison?" And I was like, "Who's Ashley Madison?" And he's like, "No, like
Yeah.
the page." And I was like, I looked up the page. Oh my God, that page is
Yeah.
bad. Like complete infidelity. He sent me screenshots of this person impersonating me. I got so scared. I'm thinking like my future career, like clearances and whatnot. So like the first thought, I went to OSI and I was like, this isn't me. So when you guys like do your background on me, because I knew I wanted to get into a job, that's gonna require a higher clearance and a little bit more,
Yeah.
that they'd have to look a little bit more in depth in that basic
A
secure that secret
polygraph. Yeah.
that secret clearance you get when you're like just finishing high school and you're like, how did I get this? Like when they see the clearance date, 2015, like bro, I was still like in high school. Like
Yeah.
and yeah, and so OSI, yeah, they didn't really care about it to be honest, but they're like, hey, like you gotta be responsible. So my social media is definitely toned down um quite a bit, kind of chilled out with like the shout out. You know, awesome leggings though. Any ladies on here and they want to find a hella good workout leggings, expensive, but they're worth it, let me tell you. I love those leggings. I love those leggings.
So talk to me about that, I guess, because I can relate, but to anybody out there that's in, that's joined, that's thinking about joining, whatever the case may be, like that's probably definitely interesting in this in the fact of just always being surrounded by men. You know,
Yes. Oh,
especially at a young age, like when we first joined. You know.
yeah. Like so I know so besides tech school, Adams and I have been to Korea for a space together. And I know you probably have seen a little bit of kind of like that experience from an outside view of like how my life was going in Korea, because
Yeah.
it was pretty honestly, to me it was super negative. I didn't really have that great of a time. Um and it was, I'll give the first great example. 5 days into me being on flight. So like we already went through phase, like we're on flight. Somebody was like, "Oh, are you?" It was one girl we went to tech school with that was there. She was like, she's like, "Are
Nanninga?
you okay?" Yeah, yeah. She stopped me in the lockers like where we had our gear at. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, "Oh, because I heard you had sex with like 5 people and like everyone was talking about it." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And anybody who knows me like really personally, like my body count probably the lowest anybody,
No,
anybody's
fact.
ever
That's
like,
facts. Yeah.
yeah. And so I was like, you know, really confused. This is people's like reputations and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I was honestly, I was like pretty upset about it because I was like, I literally am just breathing. Like I haven't even talked to anybody. Like I don't really know anybody on my flight because I all the cool cats were like on mids and I was stuck on alpha ass
I,
eaters.
I
Like
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, before you continue, I genuinely mean this. Like, I was so upset that you were on another, because like we basically had everybody for the most part on our flight, like from tech school. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I was
Bro, I
like,
was left
dang, I
for
was like,
dead. I
we're
was
just
left for
on
fucking
days, yeah.
dead.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like you're on the same element. Like you were on day shift and the opposite like
Element. So we had like
element. So
no days matching.
yeah.
We had no days matching. Yeah, so I was like left for dead, like just breathing. And of course, the first rumor came up, and any females that are in or like want to, you have to accept it. Like that is just a second part of your life is the rumor. And when we talk about like good leaders and success, that is the price to pay when moving
Yeah.
up is the rumor tax. I think of rumors as like a tax. Like it's something that you're gonna have to pay, even though I feel like it's very unfair. If you don't have any rumors going on about you and you're a female, you got some problems. Okay, like there's something wrong. Um, not in a like a bad way, but if you ain't got the rumors going, you ain't got haters, you're probably not doing it right.
I'm
And
not
you're
doing enough.
probably, yeah, and not doing it enough. So that was just the start of it, and then vice president came in, and I don't know if you remember this, but I got a patch. So volunteered on my
Yeah.
off time, didn't get picked, and this was one of those like you need to go for the opportunities. I saw the POC, the person of contact that's running the whole entire like visit. I saw him at the BX, and I was like, "Sir, it's my off day. I would like I would do the entire day just to be a part of this opportunity." And he was like, "You know what? All right, maybe at this time in this place." Dude, people
Mm.
hate it because they're like, "How did she get picked?" And I was like, telling myself, "Well, I just, it was an opportunity. I jumped at it." Next, I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with this man. I'm meeting head of Secret Service, White House, Korean Secret Service. I'm meeting like everybody and anybody you can imagine that comes with the White House for a presidential visit. I met, and then the counter assault team. Essentially, they're like the badass, like they're riding in that truck with a bunch of weapons you can't see, and they got the 8 tack on their kit. Like I was totally
Yeah.
fangirling out. Got the presidential seal like patch, and I was all about it. Walking back to my dorm in uniform, saw him, a group of guys that I knew in tech school, and then we went, was on flight in Korea, and you know who I'm talking about, but I ain't gonna say his name on here. And he, they're like, "Oh, like, what are you doing in uniform?" And I told him, "Oh, I did this, X, Y, and Z." And then they wanted to see the patch, so I showed him the patch, and the one kid was like, "Oh, you know why you got that?" And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Cause you have a pussy." And I was like, "What?" Like, cause I cause of my anatomy, I got this like pat
Yeah.
like makes no sense, and it just doesn't make any sense. And then that was kind of just like that was only like a really 1% snippet of a
The rest
female
of the year.
who,
Yeah.
yeah, the rest of the year, somebody who's driven, somebody who cares. You could tell me to mop a floor, and guess what? That floor going to be the best mop floor you've ever seen in your life. You give me a
Yeah.
task, and naturally I can't do something half-assed. Like it really bothers me, and it makes me sick to think of like being told to do something and it being half-assed. Like that is not who I am, and I can't not be that way. And then Combat Defender Challenge. So essentially went TDY to Guam. 4 months into me being in Korea, that stirred the pot a lot. You had to try out for that team. Do you remember when that stuff came out? You had to try out.
Yeah, I
Bro,
do. I
bro, you had to run. You had to do like a written test. They made us run up like the freaking satellite hill, run down. They disassembled our M4s before, and we didn't know about it. We came by and all the lights were shut off in the range, and we had to assemble our weapons back together in the dark with a strobe light, and we had to qualifier like that and did everything else. And then people were saying, "Oh, she never tried out. She just got picked." Oh,
yeah.
Sergeant Matt, the master sergeant who was leading it, oh, he just picked her, which one of the best, and my second Air Force mentor. Him and I are really close. Got a lot of shit for that too. Um, and yeah, it was like, "Oh, she didn't even try out. She didn't even like, bro,
Yeah.
y'all saw me running when you were posting out. Like I literally died for this team." And y'all want to say I didn't even try out? But it
Yeah.
was just to me that was like it was a roller coaster of like this is operational Air Force, and time goes in, rank, because if you're always trying to operate the next rank above you, or like to me being a senior airman was pointless AF. Like by the time I
Yeah.
was done with my time as an A1C, I was like, all right, I'm ready for NCO. Like I was supervising people as an A1C. It just came
Yeah.
naturally, it was just easy. But that career field, its standard is so mediocre almost across the board that when you have people that are like, "Bro, I'm a heavy hitter, it's natural," everyone's just like, "Oh, like high speed, get out of here. Like you're outshining all of us." I still get it to this
Yeah.
day as an NCO with some time in and some time in the NCO rank. I still get it, but now I get it from senior NCOs now. I mean, I was
Yeah.
getting it from senior NCOs in Korea, but I didn't really hear of it. But now I hear of, the techs, the masters, even some of the seniors are just like can't handle the female uprising. So
No, for sure. And I I know you very well, and all that is 100% true. You're one of the most driven people I know, and I struggle with that too, similar in like security forces. But as as I got closer and closer to getting out of security forces, like I was less driven with the job itself. But the thing that always drove me was people. So I always knew how to take care of people, and
Yeah.
people like you said, NTLs above you, higher ranking, like they hate they other than like the mentors I have and the ones that are mentors know that they're mentors, like people hated that. They hated that somebody under them could just be a better leader, a better person, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want me to get a group of people and have them do XYZ, whatever you need, I promise you. And then we're talking from all walks of life, right? I promise you, I can do that
That's
better
facts.
than you know what I mean.
That's
But it's just and that's what they hated. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that
That
kind
somebody
of
could do it better.
like why won't they listen to me? Well, because you're asking yourself why won't they listen to you? You know what I mean? Like that's simple. And
Yeah.
when I think about like leadership and how simple it is, because people really think it's just like this like treasure chest of like formula. Like what does being a good leader mean to you? Um, in everything you do, not just work.
Well, I feel like I don't so I feel like when it comes to like to me a good like vision of a leader and I'm led a lot differently than I think peers nowadays I see because the Air Force like that culture is changing.
Yeah,
Not saying we're soft, but we're getting into like new school leadership. There's a lot of aspects of old school leadership that I am led best to, i.e. like rightful screaming, like rightful yelling, that hard to love or like that tough love, like, oh, like if you think you can't handle it, then go find me somebody else that's willing or that is worth this reward that's about to be given. I kind of like that kind of leadership, but that may not be a positive leadership in the eyes of other individuals, but the foundation of to me what a good leader would be is somebody who actually had to follow first, who
yeah,
followed who followed first and wasn't, so focused on I need to be a leader right away. No, we need to learn how to follow um people who actually take the time to personally know who's below them. So like as a supervisor, obviously my commander doesn't personally know a lot of me, but even as a supervisor, because that's usually the first type of leadership that we truly see when we're in is like when we're at, supervisors is first off, nobody does the ACAs anymore. Like, for the people who don't know,
yeah.
midterm, midterm and uh the first time you acquire that troop, you do like
Initially,
this is what yeah, your initial feedback session. I actually typed out a page, 12 questions. Are you married? Do you own a house? Do you have kids? If so, like what are their birthdays, things like that. And I keep that file as long as they're my troop. And then when I know that their anniversary with their husband or wife is coming up in August, you betcha in July, I'm thinking at the end of July, hey, you got any leave you want to take in August for your anniversary? And they're like, how did she know? Like, I have an
yeah,
anniversary. Like, she cares. And it's just taking basic stuff like what motivates you, like what doesn't motivate you. Because if I don't like time off, so if you think that you're going to award me with time off, I'm going to be a little bothered.
yeah,
But what motivates me is verbal feedback, like oral, like positive feedback through my mouth. I just say every time I say like oral feed or oral positivity feedback, everyone's like, "Oh, oral." No, like if if you come up to me at the end of the day and you're like, "Busby, you're killing it," like I'll run with that for the rest of the week. I'll be like, "Oh my god, he actually told me that, on Monday that I was actually killing it. Like he's proud." But like, don't give me the
words
time
of
off.
affirmation.
Yeah,
Words of
words of
affirmation.
affirmation. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
uh,
oral feedback.
Nah, I'm the same way. I'm a big words of affirmation person. I think because I take a lot of time onto what I say. And I know everybody's not like that, but I take a lot of time with the things I say. So when I do say things, most 99% of it is well thought out and well structured. And so I think words are powerful. Words mean a lot. So that's definitely a big thing for me too. And you hit it like right on the nail right on the head. It's like that the little things, like you said, the whole anniversary story and whatnot, like that doesn't take like how much effort does
It
that
took
take?
me no time.
Literally.
It took
Yeah.
me no time. I literally just went on Word document and then thought of like
Yeah.
what would I want to ask my troop or know about my troop, like not on a day-to-day basis. I did that and then I brought that up to like professional development meetings and like
Yeah.
NCOs lost their mind. And I was like, bro, like you haven't thought about this? Like it took me 5 minutes and they think I'm like some like wizard supervisor. Like,
Yeah.
no, I literally just like think outside the box or critically think, which I would say 90% of the time is a lost like it's like cursive, bro. Thinking
Yeah.
critical thinking is like cursive, something that's not taught but looks beautiful. Like, wow,
Yeah.
cursive looks beautiful, but I don't know how to do it. But man,
And I remember like I had a brand new troop in Germany. Oh man, he was so motivated. He was like, "Hey, I want to go for flight chief like tomorrow," right? He was like this, that, and the other. And everybody, luckily I got a hold of him first, but everybody
ooh, yeah.
that and I went during our like initial feedback, right, our ATA, I was asking him questions. He was like, "Yeah, a lot of people say that, flight chief's a long shot, all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera." Which I mean, it definitely is, right? You're not gonna be the flight chief, not as no
Yeah.
brand new airman, right? Uh, but um, where people that whole moment, like you said, professional development meetings and stuff like that, was I went to everybody that day or the next day in guard mount, right? And I was like, hey, I was like, I don't need y'all to do anything. And I wasn't like disrespectful or even like stern. I was just like, hey guys, please do me a favor. I don't need y'all to do anything as far as uh, like advice for my troop. I was like, just train him on the job. I was like, and then once he gets the job going, if you want your input or whatever, like, then you can go ahead and do it. But please, please, please let me, you know what I mean? Like, be his
Yeah.
supervisor, do this feedback. And I said, I know a lot of you guys are making fun of him because he wants to do big things and be great, right? Even do something that honestly, even if I wanted to, like it couldn't happen. Like you're not gonna go for flight chief.
Yeah, but it's the
But
aspiration.
I but I'd rather have that every single day, especially in a career field where is it likely? No, but like it could be life and death, right? I'd rather have a person that's ready to go, right, and excited to be here than
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I was like, y'all better not shoot this kid's dreams down because if you do, you're gonna have to deal with me. Right. I was like, he came, joined for a different reason than you did, et cetera, X, Y, Z. I was like, so do not let his dream, you know what I mean, fall because you're a lazy ass and
Yeah.
you want to sit there and be, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and, and people like looked at me like I was crazy. And I was just like, dude, that didn't take much. You know what I mean? I was just like letting y'all know, hey, like, just be a decent person. You
Yeah.
remember what it's like when you
And in
joined?
everybody's eyes, you were like, and a lot of people, you were doing the most. And you're like,
Yeah.
no, this is just basic foundational skills of like how to be a human being. But in this career field, like that's the most. Like if you just like breathe and have somewhat positivity, you're already doing the most on flight, period, hands down.
Yeah.
Like to majority, you're already doing the most. And it's trying to be comfortable with like, I'm doing the most and I'm ready for the unsolicited feedback that I'll be receiving
Yeah.
for just doing my job and being a decent human being. You're going to get a lot of unsolicited because that's not what the career field is used to.
Yeah.
Like it's just like
And then
it's
think about
crazy.
this, right? Think about this. We talk about being leaders and whatnot. Dude, we're about to task for tech, yo.
Tech. Oh my
Oh
god. Sick.
my
Have you been
gosh.
studying?
Yeah, I've been studying.
Bro, let me tell
but
you.
I'm kind of like an auditory learner, so I don't like sit there. I can't read because if I read, I'll just read it and forget it. So I'll listen like while I'm like washing clothes or doing something. That's what I
Yeah,
do. I just listen
bro.
to the PDG.
I haven't been, so I've been studying a little bit, but I literally started studying the day I got a test date. So bad on me, I know, not like myself. And this
That's
is
okay
something else.
though.
Like, so obviously, my year 2021 has been so crazy with like work, security force,
Yeah,
like um
mine was too,
and
by the way.
yeah, like so yeah, everybody knows that Adam's cross trained out. I'm about to cross train, and for the people who are the part of the audience that is security forces, your girls truly, she runs the counter drone portion at the base I'm at, which conveniently is a MagCom first. So I have been dumb busy with like essentially Air Force here is like, we have this problem. Here's how to like here's what we have as a solution to fix. And then here's us. They're like this. But
Yeah,
when they came down like this and they stepped on you, in them shoes that haven't came out yet, when they
yeah.
stepped on you, this didn't come. Like in my hand, there's no like DOD instruction. There's no like anything. So bro, when I say it's the Wild West, I am literally Megan the motherfucking stallion. Okay, I'm Megan the Stallion of the career field. Like I am Tina
Yeah.
Snow, and with and I love it. I love everything I do. Um, People who are aspiring to be security forces, flight isn't the only thing you can do. You can do back office jobs which support flight, so like investigations, training. You can do everything from reports analysis. I fall under the communications and emergent technology, which isn't traditional security forces, but it's a portion that the career field is behind probably about 10 years of like, oh, we need somebody that can
Okay.
understand why DBIDS comes off network like all the time. So I have that knowledge, and with counter drone, like this is probably my most rewarding year so far has been in this job. Um, and I'm leaving it in 2 months. Like it is absolutely bittersweet, but I think it's for the better because the job challenges me that I'm doing right
Mhm.
now. The job challenges me, but security forces as a career field doesn't challenge me
Yeah.
anymore. And like I know you personally, so I know that your decisions leading, because you and I we just showed up to work and they're like, dang, they're kind of shit hot. You know what I'm saying? And we just
Yeah.
like showed up to work, not trying to like
Yeah.
flex on each other, but
No,
like
but it is true to to a certain extent. Yeah, for sure. I
yeah,
agree.
so it's kind of just like you're probably doing a job that's challenging in a lot of different ways and probably more rewarding than SF
Yeah.
was. I'm going into the intelligence community, so like I'm ready. I do a little bit of intel now with the counter drone, but like I didn't tell you this, but like February 1st, the MagCom commander came down and he was like, "Bro, I need to send you to Hanscom in
Yeah.
Air Force Base in Massachusetts to like embed yourself TDY to tell these like lieutenant colonels what this counter drone program's looking at and lead them." And I was like, "A staff sergeant?" Like, and the man
Yeah.
couldn't believe that I like
Tech
gave this
select.
powder. Yeah, this man couldn't believe like you're gonna step promote me, bro. Like, step me and let's go. But like, I made this PowerPoint, typical MagCom
Yeah.
leader wanting to come in and see what the squadron has been doing. I gave him this PowerPoint. I'm like, drones, technology, capabilities, like this is what we got. And he was like, that that Mr. Krabs me when he was like this, that was him.
Yeah.
And he was like, and the command chief, the new top cop that replaced Chief Hart's, like he was like,
Hmm.
how do you know all this? And I was like, because I
Chief
got hired.
Lewis, right?
Yeah, yeah. He was like, how do you know
I
all
met
this? And I was
him.
like,
He's a good dude.
dude, he's cool. Yeah, and he was like, "How do you know all this?" And I was like, I got hired, for this job, so like I think this is
Yeah.
how an NCO across the Air Force, bro. I'm getting people in like Spangdahlem, Spain, like all across the US emailing me saying like, "How do I build my counter drone program? Like, how did you do it?" My name's somewhere, I don't know, out there at half level,
Yeah.
like, and I
Yeah.
made this name, and I'm, you know, I'm challenged and I love this. And if they could guarantee me this counter drone position in security forces to make it the best it could be for this career field, I would stay. But that's not a guarantee. I mean, like, look at Vindicator and all the other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so electronic warfare is something that is gonna be the new face of Air Force. But
Cyberspace.
yeah, but security forces, we're still gonna be like 5, 10 years behind, and that's just the way it is because we're the only really militarized career field in the Air Force. And I'm not talking
Yeah.
about I'm not talking about special forces, like that's different.
Yeah.
I'm talking about standard Air Force. We're the only people left that still do like basic movement. Yeah, they're
Yo,
like, oh, yeah.
yes, yo. So I do like safety inspections, right? Went on a safety inspection the other day. It was this captain from like FSS, right? She comes up to me. She's like, "Hey, how's it going, Sergeant Adams?" I'm like, "Good. We're outside, right?" But I'm doing an inspection on like a football soccer field. So
Mhm.
like I have like notes in my hand, and
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna salute and just see what happens, right? Because I'm technically inspecting her. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like or her facility. So it's not like so that it's kind of like I'm doing a job right now. I'm not like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I'm not
It's
your
like when the working
subordinate.
party does. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not your subordinate. Um and I was just thinking while I'm doing this inspection, I was like, dude, how much different would that have been in security forces? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh.
dude, I would have freaking you know what I mean? I would have popped,
Ugh.
did a salute, I would have did a backflip and be like, ma'am, do you need some pizza or something? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
You would have been
would
an airman first class if you didn't salute. If you didn't salute, hands down, if Adams didn't salute in this scenario, he would have gone back to,
yeah.
working, flight, whatever. And there would have been 3 emails from the commander saying, like, all airmen need to salute. Like, it would have been the end of the world. End of
Yeah,
the world.
and
End of
and
the world.
it was just crazy, like the different environment, how it is now. Like you said, it's definitely less militarized than security force for sure. But
It is.
we talked a lot about professional stuff. I also wanted to talk about some funny stuff because you're a character. You know that, Georgie?
Am I?
And yeah, and you work hard, and you're more than just you know what I mean. A person that's good at their job. What is some of your funniest or some of your greatest moments that you've had throughout your time in the military that you just like absolutely like that's awesome, that's fun, that's funny, or whatever the case may be.
Well, I feel like so as far as like fun, like I think I could definitely speak to like my fun time, like my fun times. I like me personally, like most funniest like moments. I'm sure that is definitely somebody that that knows me, like besides you, but like somebody else that could be like, oh, like
Hmm.
Boyd or Busby. Boyd's my maiden name, but oh, like Boyd or Busby like did this and it was super hilarious. But the opportunities that were most fun that I was able to take, I want to say is every single TDY. Okay, so like for
Yeah.
those who like do not personally know me, for the amount of times I've been to 4 bases and I've been to a handful of TDYs that is I can't even remember. Like my most recent one that I got, no, not my most recent one. My biggest semi recent one was my trip to Curacao. That was insane. Was supposed to go to Afghanistan and they were like, "Bro, big
We're
man's
leaving.
pulling out. Big man's pulling out." And I was like dumb sad. I was like, "Dang, like I'm actually going to be I wanted to be a part of
Yeah.
something that, you know, the time you and I came in that was still happening.
Yeah.
OIF and OEF." So I was like, I just wanted to at least be part of it before we technically did like
Yeah.
the fold out couch pull out. And I was like, bro, I don't want to do that. Like, so I was a little
Yeah.
upset. And then leadership was like, bro, how about Curacao? And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I had too much to prepare. I was on that Stairmaster. I was like trying to get it because Curacao,
Yeah.
if y'all don't know where it's at, I ain't going to tell you this isn't a geography class. Look it up. 36 days paid vacation, Curacao. Babes, bikinis, drinks. Like
Yeah.
I've never gotten so drunk in my entire life. Then like every like we did a 4 and 2, so like 4 days of work, 2 off. That last day of work, like we worked from like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. As soon as we
Yeah.
got off, it was great, Grey Goose. everywhere. Like Grey Goose every single day off.
Bottoms
Grey
up, huh?
Goose, dude, it was ridiculous. And then, after that, went up to Hanscom for like 4 or 5 days to see the robotic dog and the AI drone together, like new
Yeah.
technology. Guam for a handful of days, to train and like go up against everybody else, and a handful other just bomb TDYs. And I would say the networking has been insane. But my personality, though, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know how I'm gonna fit into Intel. Because Intel, like everybody is like, "Oh, I'm on
Yeah.
Reddit. I'm on Reddit. Like, I'm on Reddit. I haven't had a
I'm on
girlfriend in like 3
Reddit.
years. Yeah, I'm on Reddit on my downtime. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I game. We all know I have a nerd side. Halo 3,
Yeah, that
Halo
was
3.
crazy.
Yeah, Halo 3. We definitely have. I have a nerd side, but man,
Oh,
my
that's funny.
personality is just like, and I know,
Yeah, it's
dude,
it's boom. You
dude,
know?
people who are probably watching this that who like don't know me personally are like, is she really
Yeah.
like have that personality like she's saying? But like, no, I'm telling you, like but like security forces though, like if you and I
Yeah.
were on a 12-hour shift together by ourselves, which happens, I
Hmm.
guarantee we're gonna have fun. Okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
have
you
fun.
have
But
to.
like, I always experience it. It's people like Korea and stuff like that. Like the man that was stuck in the DFP with me for like 12 hours in Korea, bro, I'm just chilling and he like I would say, so like, what's your middle name? I don't have a sister. I don't have a sister. Like, bro, I didn't ask that. What's your middle name? Like, talk to me. And
Yeah.
you either think like people typically hate, when they don't know. So I
Yeah.
have a group of like people who hate me so bad because they never met me and they're just like, oh, I
Yeah.
hate her. I hear somewhat good stuff, but she's probably a hoe and like she's annoying AF. And then there's people who are like, I know her personally. I don't like her because she's super annoying. I can be really annoying. I get that. I acknowledge it. I can be annoying. And then I have people who are like,
Yeah.
I like her, but like she's just not my vibe. Like I want
Yeah.
somebody who's more like goth, like Kim
Chill,
Kardashian, I don't know.
depressed,
Yeah,
more
I want somebody who's
depressed.
depressed and like telling me like, answer my text, I swear. Like, no, I'm not like that. Like, oh my god, he didn't text me back, what do I do? Like, that's not me. And then I have people who are like, wow, like I vibe with her because she's like, we could do anything together. Like when he texted me
Yeah.
about doing this podcast, I ran around the house and I was like, bro, I'm about to be on the podcast. Like this is about to be like I'm about to act up. And like obviously different, we can talk you can talk to me about anything.
Oh man, that's so
So if you want me to act up on the
yeah.
podcast, I can, but people know I act
No,
up.
yeah, I just think that and I would be like just straight up with you, just genuine. I think I've done a lot of not so much serious, but a lot of informational stuff, and I think we've covered a lot of informational stuff. And sometimes you just gotta act up. Cause I think for me, right, I think people who don't know me see me, and I don't know everyone's opinion, right? But I think there's a group of a lot of people that think that like I'm too like serious, which is like
No,
far.
it's not true.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not
Like
true.
like I like to get it, what I mean? I like to have a good time, I like to have fun, and I like to laugh. Like I think
Oh
I think
yeah.
my I think the way like how I'm funny isn't like very vivid, but like I got a sense of humor, yo. You know what I mean? Like just give me some time, sit back, and I'll make you laugh. Like just you just
Yeah.
gotta just be patient with me. You know
Yeah,
what
like
I mean?
when we went out to eat in Texas, when I was down there
Oh,
TDY, do you remember that? And it was like the first time I had seen a homeboy from Korea.
oh yes,
We
yes, yes,
were
yes.
acting up on that table. We were acting up. Like this
Yeah, that was funny. You know, it's another funny moment I think about, and there's a lot of like I guess stepping stones in my life, especially like my Air Force career and yours as well. But one of the most like hyped and just like most accomplished moments I've ever felt, and a lot of it had to do with the times of like me being younger and stuff like that. One of the most accomplished I've ever felt was when we graduated technical training, right? And I know you know
Yeah.
where I'm going with this. So we had to graduate early before Exodus, which is like the holidays. We graduated December 23rd, and then we go on leave for however long you decided to go on leave, and then we're all getting, or me and Georgie were getting sent to Korea, and
Yeah.
a bunch of us were getting sent to Korea. But I remember finishing right, and everybody else, we since we were the graduating team, everybody else was behind us in training, so they had to go to go like take leave for the holidays and then come back, right?
Yeah, shit was
And and,
dumb.
and we didn't have to come. Excuse me, we didn't have to come back. So I remember you, me, and Wagner. We were getting like our end of day brief, right? And they said dismiss, and we had finished our processing and stuff, and we were just like,
Oh,
"Let's
we were
go!"
gone.
I swear to God, I did a backflip, and nobody even saw it for real. That was
I think
so
I did. I
hype.
think I did.
I didn't do no damn back, but
Bro,
I
you
felt
you
like I
got
could.
like
I
hella
felt like
air.
I could have done one. I felt like I could have done one. That was one of the funniest slash like most enjoyable moments I think I've ever had in my life. Cause there was nothing nobody on
Could
planet
say.
Earth
Could
could
say to
say. We
change
were
us.
just so happy. We were just so happy and it was well deserved too. You know what I mean? Especially like being the ropes and stuff. That was oh man, it was so stressful. You know,
Bro.
for no reason. But
Bro,
dang,
even
yeah,
your
that was
own friends too. Like they would be clearly
yeah.
like not at attention and you're like, bro, just stand in attention and like we can't like leave. And they're and you knew them personally and they're like, nah. And you're like, okay, first off, like I'm your friend. Second of all, like just
Yeah.
do it so we can leave. Like it's not hard to like contemplate and like you just yeah, you just get shit on
Yeah.
like all the time and it was so old. Like after a
Yeah.
while you're just like, bro, oh my God. We were dude,
Uh,
we need to get Wagner on here.
I know.
Oh my
I know.
God.
That would be
That's
so
a
dope. I still have him on Snapchat. He's living his life in Florida. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but it was
yeah,
like I said 6 or 7 months ago. We're on the phone for a while. He's doing good things though. I'm happy for him. Um,
yeah,
but with that, remember when we were at Bolus and like I was standing up there and I think it was like Massey Porter. Somebody said something to me, and dude, I was so chill. I was like, dude, I didn't even have anybody's attention or nothing like that. I was just like, yo, chill. And they were like, hey Adams. They're like, they asked me something. They're like, can I sing you a song? Or like, they're just something dumb.
like
It
something
was
stupid.
right. And I was like, no, I'll sing you a song. And then he was like, all right, go ahead, bust it, right? And I said,
Uh,
flight 10 times. You remember that?
they're
And
like, wait,
everybody, yeah, and everybody like was like at attention, like laughing. I
try,
don't know if
yeah.
you remember at Bolus. It was at Bolus. I'll never forget that. It was just one of the funniest moments ever, yo. We are always getting yelled at too, like just for no reason. Again, Bolus. I was in the front. I, it always Adams in the front, right? And then we line up and they're screaming at me, and like the MTL's like right next to me. They're like, ropes, come in the office. Remember? And we're like in
Yeah.
there, and they're like, you're not in, you know what I mean? Like you're not at Lackland anymore, blah blah blah. And like, dude, we've been here for like 7 weeks, bro. Like, why are you like restarting this whole like,
Spiel
like
over again. Like,
just getting yelled at for no reason, bro. That was super funny. But yeah, dude, like I feel like if I wasn't like looking at the clock, dude, I think we could do like a freaking half a day podcast, but I don't want to
we
keep you
really
too
could.
long.
No, no, I can already see it. Like, we could do like we could do so many topics like on a podcast together, like relationships at Bullis, like What or no,
Ooh.
relationships like while we were in the military, like in the beginning of the military, like if dating,
I
if
was
we were dating somebody.
I was gonna say because I mean it's kind of awesome that you found somebody so early because I think I said on my last podcast I was just like, dude, like you said, imagine without. I mean, a lot of the reasons for your PCS were was due to like joint spouse, but like
Yeah.
all of my PCSs were just due to like me, and this is my fifth base
Bro, you're
in
kind of
6 years.
you are killing it. Like if that like no joint spouse like is the reason why like cuz I kind of scammed the system like that
Yeah,
I was going to keep my BOP in Korea cuz I knew joint spouse was like a mandatory 1 year, so I was like, "Oh, I'm about to hit Dover for like a year." And then
yeah,
that's already like a base. Like yeah, it hasn't been like that long like on those installations, but it's still like something. So, but like
yeah,
to say like you've been to like 5 installations, like, and that's all you like, no joint spouse,
yeah.
you're
And
up.
and also too, there's like pros and cons, right? Because I in any shape or form, and like I said, I've definitely attempted, and I have, you know, I'm not the perfect person, but I definitely try when it comes to anything, especially a relationship, like especially when it comes to a partner, like I'll put so much effort into that, more than anything I could think of. But it just wasn't feasible for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
I've
it's
moved,
hard.
I moved every year. And like the 2 years I was in Germany, right? It wasn't even 2 years because halfway when I got there, I knew I was deploying after 6 months. So I got an email like my second or third week in Spangdahlem saying, you're going to deploy. I got to Spangdahlem in February. You're going to deploy in October. So like
Yeah.
I was there for 6 months, deployed for seven, came
Yeah.
back for another 6 months. And then like, oh, like I only have that much time. And then I had orders to Turkey already. So like me trying to like
Find somebody.
yeah, it's been very difficult. And that's just I believe everything happens for a reason and it's like part of the plan. I'm not trying to force anything by any means, but like, we all want what we don't got. I mean, or we all like, to a certain extent want what we don't have. And it's just like, well, maybe one day I'll find somebody, it's just like
Yeah.
I'm still on the search. So
It's so crazy that that's how like how it's played out like okay, like for the females listening to this, if you're wanting to join the military, you could have one eye missing and everybody's like
yeah.
like female in here like and listen, I know I'm like not helping
Yeah.
myself because Instagram I'm a catfish, social media I'm a catfish right now. I don't look anything like that. Like this is not I'm not just like you're probably looking at this. I think I look a lot different like in person than I do through like camera or like when other people take photos of me. That's a really bad thing I have. But like I literally just like existed in Korea. And like I already had people like stalking my Facebook, like stalking like knew everything about me, and then like I get to flight and I was dating my now husband, and like I got shit on for like dating somebody that like wasn't security forces. Like it was like, "Oh, I don't know you, you're a whore. Oh, like you've dated a single person the entire time in Korea? Whore." Like and you're like, "Wait,
Yeah.
like how do I not be like a hoe?" Like and I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything and it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's just like for men
And
like
And I think a lot of it's just like those are a bunch of like insecure people who and when they reflect on themselves, they don't one, they don't have any game, or two,
yeah,
they
the
just
game.
they're just jealous. Like that's basically what it comes down to, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like they have to make up this thing to make their insecurities feel better so they could like their self-esteem feel better about themselves, I guess. And that's one thing like I've never struggled with. I think too like a lot of times like growing up with sisters, it's like when dudes are just like all over women, like I get it. There comes a point where it's like, hey, if you really want to pursue somebody, you gotta pursue them. But it's like, dude, when you're all over somebody and it's like, oh, you're annoying them to the point, to the point, to the point, like
Yeah.
where they're just like, oh well, like fine, like I'll sleep with you, whatever the case. Like, dude, that's like that's just as
That's
bad.
bad. Yeah.
You know
Like,
what
you're
I
not
mean?
like, "Wow, I just pressured this girl into doing something he doesn't wanna do because I couldn't get the hint of 38 unread texts." Like, yeah,
Yeah,
stop hitting my shit up. Like, I don't wanna
yeah,
talk to you. I
you
don't wanna
know,
talk to you, but, like
and it does happen because I've seen it happen in the military where it's like this girl will be like, no, you're a piece of trash or whatever, blah blah blah. Will ignore a person, whatever, and they're just around so much that they're just like keep, and eventually over time that person, that woman, you know what I mean, and it happens to guys too, are just like, oh fine, like you know what I mean, like fine, so you just shut up, and like, dude, that's like, oh, that's so I just
bro,
that
that's what we need to do. In next
hurts me.
podcast, we need to do, like, relationship and, like, personal encounters in the military. Cause boy, I got some content for that. I got some good content for that. Like, they're gonna be like, "Wow, like, some real shit's happened in Busby's time in." Like, good
Yeah,
good content, not, like, name dropping or anything, but, like, the the unwanted supervisors, and I got, like, the wishful thinking where it's like, "Oh my god, like, this could turn out to be a real thing."
yeah, no,
Like,
for
some crazy
sure.
stories. I got some really good stories for that. Yeah, that's gonna
And
be
yeah, and just a little bit too about like, I guess myself personally, like relationship. It wouldn't have been as bad, not as bad, but I don't think I would feel the way I feel now if there wasn't so many people, not so many, but I would say if there wasn't people in my life that I met that had potential. But because of
yeah.
the moves, and I think that's almost like worse, right? It's like, well, if I never met anybody that I thought, you know, I could see myself like with the rest of my life with, or whatever the case, it would been like, it'd be like whatever. But the fact that I think I, not that I did, because again, I think everything happens for a reason, but there are some great people that have came and gone in my life that I'm just like, what if I didn't have the PCS? You know what I mean? Or what if I never
Yeah.
left? Like, you know what I mean? Like what if I didn't move from this base to this base or whatever the case? Like, how much different would that have? Like,
Like,
because
if
that's
I didn't
life,
have to pee
it's life
yeah,
changing.
you're on the phone, like, if I didn't have to leave, like, would we have kissed by now? Like like, baby, if I didn't have to PCS 2 months ago, like, do you think we
7,
would have been
triple
on that
nine,
first
eight,
date?
two.
Yeah. Like,
You
do
know
you
what
think
I
we
mean?
could have?
I would have been kiss me through the phone.
Kiss me through the phone. Yeah, with your, like, with your legs up, like, kiss me through the phone. Kiss me
Sitting on like the dryer or something, you know what I mean? Just waiting
Yeah,
for my
or
clothes to dry.
you're on top of your, like, cabinet, like, you're literally in your cabinet, like, "Baby, what if we did this?" And you're, like, vacuuming the countertop, like, "What if we had this?"
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But you know what's one thing that is good about it is I didn't end up, and you know a lot of them. We all know a lot of
Yeah.
them. I did not end up marrying somebody that that I regret or that I despise. You know, how many people do you know in the military when a girl
Dude,
says, "Hi, how's it going? Will you marry me?"
marry me. Yeah, she had nice shoulders. Oh, marry me.
Yeah, but shoulders my ass, bro. She has some boulders that look like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
That's
look
what I
like
wondered,
Shrek.
like I wondered, like, everybody, cause okay, so I definitely had, like, some kinda connection when I was in tech school. We didn't,
Yeah,
like, date or anything, but we had a connection, and then, um, met my husband at, first duty station, and then we get married. During that time, he was like, "Oh, like, it's just crazy to see, like, how you like, you went to your first duty station and, like, your life's different." Like, and he opened up and was like, "I was gonna ask you to marry me, like, right when we graduated tech school." And I was like, "Bro, we, like, didn't even know each other. Like, you don't know me from Adam. Like, seriously, like, and you're saying you want it." So, and I wonder now, I wonder to this
yeah,
day, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I know I look a
yeah,
little ratchet right now, but, like, I wonder all the people I've met in the military, like, how many of them would have been like, if I just gave them the time of day, I
yeah.
wonder if they would have been like, "Wow, I'm gonna marry her." You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like I would
No.
marry her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just a curious number. So anybody out here that's like, I know
Yeah.
her in person and like, feel free to DM me and been like, listen, it's time to come clean. Like, I would have asked you to marry me.
Or no,
It's
put it
okay.
in
You
the
could be
comments.
honest.
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
put
if
it
you're
in the
really about
comments.
it, put it in the comments.
Put it in the
Yeah, if you're
comments.
really about it.
I'm all about that. Like, say what you need to say to get off your chest. Like, ain't nobody even mad. It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, you know. But like, man, I got some good, good stories for you.
Yeah.
I got some good stories for you.
Well, what's crazy about that, and it's like different from a guy's perspective, because I guess like in culture, right, guys have to naturally ask. But there's definitely been one or two for me where I was like, and it hasn't been a handful. It's like I said, one or two women where it's just like I never like obviously I never made the jump, but the PCSing and just all that, just like there was so much stuff that got in the way. But there was times where I'd be like, well, let me look up, you know what I mean, like how much like an engagement ring would cost or whatnot, and it's just like because like the people, not only are you investing in them, but you're also investing in their potential what down the road, right? So it's like
Yeah.
that those times in my life that definitely did cross me, but obviously everything happens for a reason, and I am where I am right now, and I'm just trying to be the best man that I could be, you know.
Yeah.
So hopefully, when that time does come and somebody special comes into my life, I can be ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ladies.
And be
Ladies.
and be the best version, that Nick can be, and that's basically what I'm trying to do now. But yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine. I bet you, no kidding, from the amount of people, and I don't even know other people at your other duty station, from tech school to Korea, just that, and that's like a year and a half. I would say, what if I had to guess the number? I'd say like 16 people that like actually thought about. That'd be my number.
Would actually
You
think
don't think
about
so?
like, hey, I would marry this girl.
Yeah.
No, to me, like for me personally, like you have to be like blunt. Like if you at
Yeah.
no point in my life said, I think you're cute, like then I don't think it's true. So then like I get these
Yeah.
randoms like for one instant, and this will be like a little preview of like what our next one could be, a tech school instructor.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be interesting.
I had one of our tech school instructors was definitely in my DMs after the fact, and I was like, I was like, what?
Hold
And
on.
so yeah,
Swole.
yes,
Hey, how did I
bro.
know?
But
How
like
did I know?
we looked
I'm
so
such a guy, yo. How did I know?
look. I looked this busted, but even more because we weren't allowed to like wear makeup or anything like that in tech
Yeah.
school, and I had just like I looked like I was 15. So like it
Yeah.
was just one of those things like, and you're so focused on like what's going on around you that you're not really like for me I wasn't really thinking like, oh, does this person think I'm cute, like how do I look right now, like my hair literally looked like a legit bird's nest, like it was like all the time, like you didn't have any time to like think about that. So this whole time, like after he was in my DMs, I was thinking like, wow, like the whole time this man was looking at me like this when I wasn't even thinking that. And I only know this because
Yeah.
he shot his shot, or he shoot his shot. He did whatever. Yeah. He was like this.
Step back.
Yeah, he was doing some basketball stuff like, and that's the only, and but like to all the other people that like
Yeah.
didn't like, who hasn't done that but like was thinking like that, I don't know because like now I'm not saying everybody like flood my DMs and be like, oh, like I was thinking about you. Like
Yeah.
if that makes you feel better to get over whatever, like cool. But like I'm a very oblivious person, like super oblivious. So
Yeah.
like
Well, I mean,
if you're
a,
not,
a lot of men too, and I talked about this in my last podcast when it came to confidence, are just very naturally intimidated. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, you're a person. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you're obviously, um, to a lot of people, definitely a good looking person, but from a male's perspective, it's like it's
I'm telling you, everybody's like, wait. this girl in this video, like what? I'm telling you, guys, meet me in person. It's a
but
maybe.
but but a lot of dudes like are insecure to that, you know what I mean? And back then it was
Yeah,
just like different. But also
especially
too, like from my
military.
from my perspective, it's like ranking up so fast, and that dude, like I have the potential to be a Texan, like how crazy, and we're freaking 24. And being here at Shepherd, it's like there's a bunch of this is the biggest tech school push, like we push more tech schoolers through than any other base in the Air Force. So it's like, dude, even just trying to find somebody like near my age, or you know what I mean, that's not already like either in a relationship, married, whatever the case may be, it's actually like very difficult. So that's why at the moment I'm just focused on myself and just trying to, you know what I mean, learn my job. Doing these CDCs,
Y-
yeah, I'm
uh,
knocking these
He's
CDCs
a
out.
5 level.
I'm not even that, yo. I'm a three. I don't get my five until I finish, yo.
Oh my god, how sick! Like it's so twisting almost. Like it's twisting.
Yeah, so we're figuring it out. But also too, to everybody listening too, and most guests don't do this, right? Most guests aren't even like they don't even say like to everyone listening and stuff like that. So this naturally goes into what I'm about to say. The Nick of Time podcast might have to change its title and definitely cover, because here in the future, maybe not every episode, I might do some solo stuff, whatnot. It just depends on people's schedules, whatnot. But I would be honored to have Georgie as a co-host from here on out. That
Stop.
would be
Let's get
dope.
it. Let's
It'd
get
be,
it.
and we can co-host this thing together. How dope would that be?
That would
One,
be
because
super dope.
you have connects that I obviously, you know what I mean, can't reach, and vice versa. You
Yeah.
know,
I
and
got
we
the
could just
men, you got the females on the gram.
and we could just blow this thing up, you know? And I think this is just so cool. And I was talking to a friend today about the last podcast I dropped out, and this is my boy Robinson. That I was stationed with him in Spring Dawn. He was doing his homework, and he was doing like his discussion boards, and he was like listening to it. He sent me a video, right? And I was like, bro, be honest. I was like, do you resonate with this kind of stuff? And he was like, yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. And then like 10 minutes later, he's still listening to it. He sent me a snap of that, right? And then 10 minutes later, he's like, bro, I'm gonna have to call you later. He's like, because y'all speaking on some truth that's like so heavy. He's like, dude, I'm gonna have to call you later, bro. He's like, cause
Oh,
this is like some real life life stuff. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, man, that's why I do it. You know, it's like you never know who's listening, you never know who you're impacting, you never know, you just never know, you know?
Yeah. I
And
like this.
that's crazy. And I can't believe old dude was in your DMs, yo. I couldn't even imagine the pressure of being a
Bro.
female. Like I
Bro.
was telling somebody the other day, like like people from like my hometown or whatever, like they have no idea. Like even them, they're getting like DMs like left and right, et cetera, et cetera. Imagine I couldn't even imagine like PCSing to a short tour like Osan, and then just the floodgates. Boom. You know what I mean? Because it's like dropping blood in the water.
You're the
It's
new
like,
girl, bro. Yeah, you're the new girl everywhere you go. Everywhere you
yeah.
go, like you're the new girl. And like I said, you could have literally one eye, and people are like, "Oh my god, I freaking love her," and you're just
Yeah.
like, and I'm telling you, I got some big changes coming up in the near future. So, in on our next podcast, I'm gonna tell you, we could talk about DMs,
Yeah.
situations that are ooh, and
Situationships.
situationships,
How many times have you seen that, yo?
bro.
Like all the time, literally all the
We could
time.
talk about feet pics, sugar daddies, the whole nine, the whole nine.
Yo,
I
yes,
got some
yo.
stuff. I got some
Y-
stuff.
Exactly. How do you think so far? I know this is like a you and me podcast, but how do you think you would what's your take on one? I assume that was a yes by your initial reaction a while ago, but would you like to co-host? And two, how do
Yes.
you think how do you think you've done and you would do so far going forward?
So I would, yes, would definitely love to like co-host and
Yeah.
like start getting into cahoots with a bunch of stuff because not gonna lie, like I hear about podcasts and I feel like my personality like okay, have you seen the Call Her Daddy podcast?
Yeah.
Like obviously she's established, but like that her personality like I feel like I have like this similar like personality almost. Like
No, for sure.
she's crazy and I'm like crazy. Like obviously, some things like if my mom's watching, I can't talk about some stuff. I'd be like, Mom, listen, don't listen to this podcast. Like, this is a little,
Yeah.
but but yeah, I feel like, I'm a very open person. I could talk about just about anything and everything, and I feel very like normal,
Yeah.
like on a
And it's
podcast, like
authentic.
yeah, and like helping people, like so, like and especially too knowing our audience, like if there's like a group of people who want to know like more like personal stuff, or and we can tailor it to people who want to know like work related. Like I know you're all like on YouTube, so if it's something that's like getting into that algorithm of like don't like this is what you should do in the Air Force and all like the people who are like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm joining." Like, how do I like I'm so like adaptive, like anything. Like if
Yeah.
you texted me one week and was like, "Girl, listen, we got to do podcast and we got to talk about like X, Y, and Z," like and it's a little different, I'd be like, I'm down." Like,
Well, the crazy thing is, right? I think the best way I would like to go about it is just like whoever we find interesting that we relate to. I think somebody else our age, what I mean, in our position can relate to too, whether that's military or non-military. Because let me go down the list of people. You're my
okay.
13th guest, right? And just to show, like, I don't think it should be like you said, algorithm. I don't think it should be tailored. Um, and the only reason why I say that is because then I think that takes away the authenticity, right?
Yeah.
So the first episode was with Coletti, right? And that was a very like fitness military, like what I mean, like a David Goggins kind of podcast. My second episode was with a childhood friend of mine named Marilyn, and we talked about the college route because she's in graduate school trying to get her master's, and like that's like a different, completely opposite to what
Complete
we did.
different.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I wanted to shine light on people that are getting ready to graduate or go back to school, or like, you know what I mean? Because that's a different lane that I know nothing about. Obviously, like you and me go to school, but joining the military and not having to pay for school, like that's working and paying for your education is so much
So
different.
much different. Yeah.
Then I had a friend of mine named Yurid, who he's a bodybuilder, um, and he's just one of the hardest working guys that I know. I have another military dude named Eddie who I was stationed with in Turkey, and we talked about like a lot of mental health and stuff because we were stuck there in Turkey during the pandemic, like
Yeah.
when it first hit. So that sucked. I have another episode, right? And I got this from the Brave Badge Initiative page. Shout out to them on Facebook. These four guys, dude, they're prior security forces. They're veterans now, right? They
Mhm.
are rowing across the Atlantic Ocean in support of
What?
suicide awareness. And they're not like really really fit guys. Like they're getting into shape. They're prepared. Like these aren't like
Bro,
you
it's
know what I
like you
mean.
and I on a boat, like we're going. Like
And
what?
it's not just them. It's like a big like a competition. It's kind of like people that like climb Everest, right? It's not
Yeah.
military affiliated whatsoever. They just happen to be veterans.
Yeah.
And dude, they are rowing from Antigua to like Spain across the entire ocean, bro, from the Caribbean
Bro,
to Spain in a rowboat, bro. Like,
I'm flipping. The first 5 minutes I flipped over. I flipped over and I'm like, boys, I think we gotta go. I
yeah.
think we
And
gotta
then
chill out.
I did one with Gibbs. Obviously, Gibbs. I did
Mhm.
one with actually a guy that's younger than me named Sinjin. Um, he was just a younger classmate than mine, but he's also bodybuilding and he's super inspiring because he lost a lot of weight in like
Oh
10
yeah.
months. That was like insane. Then I did another podcast with my friend Dwayne, who we played like high school sports together. He grew up down the block, but he's fighting for his pro card in like MMA this year, and he's only
Okay.
been doing it like a year and some change.
Oh
And he's like,
wow.
yeah. And then I
Dang.
had I had a friend of mine in Germany who also like lifestyle fitness and whatnot, and she's vegan, and I had her talk about, you know what I mean, like vegan stuff. And then my last podcast that I actually dropped yesterday, how crazy is this, with this girl named Liv. It was this life coach that I seen on TikTok, and she had like some videos that like went viral, but she's not like super, like, you know what I mean, she's not like, she doesn't have a blue check basically.
Yeah.
But I hit her up and I was like, hey, I was like, one of your videos was like really inspiring. Would you mind doing this like little podcast thing? And she was like, oh yeah, for sure. And I was just like, dude, that's so dope. You know what I mean? From somebody talking about life and relationships and blah 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 to like somebody rowing and four guys rowing
Yeah.
across the Atlantic Ocean. You know, and it's just like bringing you on. I think that would just add a dynamic. One, of just pure entertainment and personality, but two, knowledge, three, better engagement, better questioning, and like I said, I have people that support me, you have people that support you, and
We
we
come
just combined
together.
it.
Boom.
Yeah,
Mega
because
support.
because I remember like it may have been like 6 7 months ago, and it may have been even longer than that. But I remember your mom like commented like, I think I may have posted like a Facebook memory or something. She commented on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, like she's never even met me, but I know she knows who I am,
Yeah. You're one
right?
of the girls.
So I'm just like, dude, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
yes, I is so honored, and we could definitely keep this going. And like I said, this right here is the perfect setting. I don't think we have to make it any more complicated than it is, and
No.
just keep this thing going. What do you say?
Dude.
Hold on. Yeah, there you go.
I'm about
uh,
it.
Already, Georgie. Well, I guess for right now, I think that's kind of it for today. I got a few errands I need to run. Uh, but before we end it, is there anything? Hold on, I got a question because I ask this
Okay.
every podcast. You're sitting down dinner table, right? Four people, four guests, dead or alive. Who are you? Who's sitting at your table for dinner? Who you eating dinner with?
Um, young Mark Wahlberg. Like
Okay,
young.
okay. Marky Mark and a Funky Bunch.
Yeah. Marky Mark in the 1999 Calvin Klein photo shoot.
Okay.
Yeah. Megan the Stallion. So
Okay.
Mark, Megan the Stallion. Um, oh my God. Maybe it's just the three of us. I don't know. Oh my God. Like, so I'm actually really bad with like movie stars, like names and stuff like that. Like,
No,
I'm
you're
so bad at
fine.
that. I'm so
Well,
bad at those names.
name me the movie or whatever, and I might be able to help you out. And it
Um,
doesn't have to be
who,
celebrities; it could be anybody.
whoever plays Doc Holliday
Doc
in
Holliday.
Tombstone, he's cute. Doc
I'll Google
Holliday
that
in
for you.
Tombstone, cute. In that movie, I was like, you're on one side of your
You're talking to John Henry? Hold on. Wyatt or Kurt Russell?
Wyatt
Kurt
Earp is like a
Russell?
real person. Is that who
Yeah,
plays Doc
Kurt
Holliday?
Kurt Russell. Yeah,
Yeah, Kurt Russell as Doc
a
Holliday.
young a young a young Kurt Russell.
I'd love to have
Yeah.
lunch with you, Kurt. I love
Okay.
to have one with you, sir. And then
Last one.
man, um doesn't even have to be famous either, but I feel like if I would name somebody if I did that isn't famous. Uh, I'm gonna add my grandparents as a bunch. Like
Okay,
my
I like
grandpa
that.
and like grandma, they're a package. Like when we play
Yeah.
kickball and you're like with your buddies and you're like, listen, we can't be separated. We're a like we're
Yeah.
like a bundle. That's
Yeah.
it. Cause like I love them and I don't get to see them as often. But man, my grandfather, he's so funny. He's
Is it?
so funny. Yes, I love him. So I want them together. I'd want them together.
Already. That's
Yeah.
so dope. I love that. So, with that, is there anything else you want to tell the people out there? Whatever comes to mind. It could be inspirational. It could be funny. It could be lame. It could be whatever you want it to be.
I will say, because we talked about gossip as the tax for the price you have to pay, you're always, always, always gonna be the villain in somebody's book. Doesn't matter who you are, how good you've done your whole life, how bad you are your whole life, you're always gonna be a villain in somebody's book no matter what. So don't let it crush you. I have a hard time with that. But then again, for the people who are watching and are like, you know what? I feel like I could kind of like I like her. You know what I'm saying? Look out for because the next episode I want to do everything like DMs, situationships, like the crazy stuff, like military. Like my one supervisor who like tried to hold my hand. Yeah, let's get it. Let's go.
Alrighty. And one more thing, and that's good.
Yes.
So don't try to please everybody. Last thing before I let you go, if there's anybody that you would want to see on the podcast, who would it be?
It would be it would be probably my husband Cody because he's a hoot.
Hell
He's
yeah.
so
And then
not gonna lie, when I told him about this podcast, he was like, "Listen, y'all want to have a fun time?" He was like, "You put me on there."
yeah, and then on the next one, like we could talk about marriage and relationships and get all into that stuff because I honestly am not educated and don't know nothing about it because
Yeah.
I PCS 5 times in the last 6 years. But sounds good. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the time. Georgie, appreciate your time. And the new co-host, I'm
Let's go.
super excited about that. And we'll see what the next episode brings. Everybody, thank y'all. Georgie, again, thank you. Appreciate your
Peace.
time. Hope you and the
Yes.
fam take care and enjoy the rest of y'all's weekend.
You too.
Alrighty. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for supporting. We appreciate it. Please give a thumbs up, hit that like and subscribe. Take care.